Hello and welcome everybody. Now it's time to start. What we would like to show you is the SAP Engineering Control Center as a basis to connect the engineering with the value chain. So that means how you can incorporate your product design that you have created in CAD into the downstream processes. This was related to presentations that we were giving before. And before I start right here, I would like to mention 2 points. The first point is that this session is being recorded so that we can provide you with this later on. And the second is that if you have any questions, please feel free to use the chat panel or the question panel in order to send us your questions. That being said, I would like to step into that presentation and I would like to show my screen right now. So, what you can see here is the SAP Engineering Control Center. It's already started. The start itself is also being used with the SAP logon. So that means that we were saying that the integration into the SAP system does not contain any redundant or external system. So that means that we log on into SAP using the SAP Engineering Control Center. The first advantage that you can get here is that every author in the SAP system is also valid in here. So this is also for very easy user maintenance. Now, the user interface itself is split up into different areas that we can see, so different sub-windows. You can see to the left the desktop. This is basically the area where you can organize your engineering data itself. You can see that it's very easy to do because here we have something like similar to a folder structure that you already know from the Windows Explorer. So it's basically built up the same way. We have folders, we have subfolders. In those folders, we can have certain content. So for example, if I step into the Inventor folder, I can have a look at my Inventor assembly. And this Inventor assembly that we can see now here is a so-called document. Files in SAP DMS are stored as documents. So maybe you recall from the last session, SAP comes with a built-in thing that not many people know, but it's the truth. So basically, you have the possibility to manage all your documents inside the SAP system. Now, this document management system itself comes only in terms of how you can organize your documents, but you also can have the infrastructure to deploy documents, especially in large enterprises. Now, what we can see here is that it's very easy to do because what we want to do is to enable you a very smooth and convenient way to work with your CAD data inside the SAP environment. So that means the data card that you can see here and have a look at. Also, there is certain classification. This classification is basically like a catalog that you can use in order to provide it with values and attributes where you can easily search for, but you can also use them as storage area to provide on downstream processes with necessary data. Just like here, what we can see, the mass and the mass unit, or maybe you're interested in some kind of version of the CAD system or whatsoever. Now, this is this part. On the other hand side, you also have a very convenient way to navigate in those structures here. So that means like a 360-degree view on my current item. So here we have the document itself. This is an Inventor assembly. And furthermore, we have the possibility to say, okay, this Inventor assembly is linked to a Material Master. This is really the connection between document management and logistic processes. Because in SAP, all the logistic processes are based on a Material Master. And now here is exactly the connection where you can bring them both together. As mentioned before, it is not necessary that you always have this connection. Management system, if you like, but if you want, you can also connect documents to Material Masters. And the big advantage of this is that then the documents themselves can easily be acquired in the downstream. Now, There you can see other possibilities that you have right here. So apart from the linked objects, which can, by the way, be more than just material masters. So assuming that you want to, for instance, provide this link also to the project system, then you can also link this particular document to the project management system inside SAP. Yeah, something that is also very known here, like version control, that of course is available here in the document management system. You can also see the components. That means like the structure that is collected in here. And the nice part about this is that you can easily navigate from one item to another. So if I can see here, for example, there's another structure, another Inventor subassembly that I can also expand these. Of course, there are also other views available. So for instance, when I want to have a look at the structure, there's a dedicated view available, so I don't have to use all these containers in between. A good example of this is, for instance, if I want to check out the bill of material that is connected to this engine here, and so I can just easily take the Material Master and drop it into here. So I can see for this engine here, we got two bill of materials available. One is engineering, one is manufacturing, with the respective components in it. Now what I want to emphasize here is, in one user interface, we can see that you have the pure connection between CAD files represented by documents, their connection to a Material Master, and this Material Master has a corresponding bill of material. So everything is connected right in here, and everything is in one single system in order to be available also to other users. Now, how does it look like when we check out more features right here? So let's say your work can be organized right in here, and a very interesting part from this is that you can also make these folders and subfolders home to even more than just documents and files. So for instance, if I just look at the Add button here, you can see folder pretty clear. Documents, if you want to store any kind of file in the document management system, it doesn't necessarily have to be a CAD file. Very easy to do here. Or even home to Material Masters. Because SAP now is working with that philosophy that the engineering work itself is, of course, not only CAD data. There is even more to that. You want to deal with other engineering objects like materials, for instance, change management. Very important here because you can really start with the change management now in the CAD design and push it through until production in order to be incorporated there. All with the same change management record if you want to. Plus, if you are in the plant maintenance, we provide support for equipment or functional location, or even product structure, which is a higher sophisticated way of organizing your product structures and also then working with some kinds of variable or variant configuration. So this is all something that you can get with this user interface in order to administrate that here. And of course, added with other functionality like easy handling, drag and drop, and things like that. I also want to show you, of course, that there are possibilities to find your documents, your objects as well, because this is very important when we are working in such an environment. And over the years, you are creating data. And when we are talking about reducing effort to look for things, then of course it's very important to also provide possibilities to search for your components. The searches themselves can be organized in storable queries. That means that for each of those objects, you can just create own queries here. And the interesting part here is that you don't necessarily have to have just document queries, so you can even search for materials. Just think about this. It doesn't really matter from which direction you're coming from, because you're on one single system with all the data in it. It doesn't matter whether you work from a document side, that you know, okay, there's a certain document I'm looking for, or whether someone from the logistics perspective, for example, purchasing, tells you, you know, There's a certain material number and the document that is related to it, this is not up to date or that needs some rework. It doesn't really matter because here you can get into it from both directions because everything is connected right in here. So those queries can easily be stored, so you don't have to put data in all over again if you have, for example, frequent searches. And another very nice aspect here is the so-called smart lists, which is also something like a search query. However, it's basically like a favorite search or like an individualized or a customized favorite list, I want to say. So you can see that, for instance, if I say I have a customized list where I say, okay, I have worked in several projects in the different during the last 5 days, and there are different folders where I put my stuff in. But now I want to know which documents did I create in the last 5 weeks or 5 days. Doesn't really matter because with such smart lists, you can easily access this. Or what are my active change projects? If I'm assigned to certain change projects, then of course it's very convenient to have a fast access to those information. So this is always here in order to make you as the end user very flexible and always focused on your work that you want to do, but not spend time on searching things, not spending time on looking up things or going to another system. Everything is in this user interface. Now, how does this look like when we also have a look on the other side, like the integration into CAD? The integration into CAD is very convenient itself. So for instance, I go into that folder, expand the E-plan, and here I want to show you how it looks like when we just create a new document. So I'm just right-clicking here, say I want to create a new document. Now the assistant comes up, and I say Virtual Fair 2018 E-Plan Software Demo. As you can see, there's always the possibility to enrich this with additional data. Just confirm that. And now the document is being created. There is a template file that is connected to it. And let's see how this looks like. That's why I will make a right click, open this project for editing. Now what's going to happen is that this file is being acquired and then handed over to the E-plan. So we'll just check out the E-plan here, just right here. And now once this file is being handed over, the E-plan will use this in order to open that. By the way, you can see on the right-hand side, of course, the engineer is also part in here. And coming back to our E-plan, the first thing that I would like to point your attention to is the fact that we don't have to manually transfer metadata, because when I double-click on the title page, you will see that the description that I have just entered is being taken over. Very convenient. Also multi-language. It's just a matter of the setup here. Now the integration itself is coming along with an additional menu bar item that you can see here. So it comes with its own menu where you can access the most important functionality right from within the CAD system. And these are, on the one hand side, document operations. So for example, I can open and save my project, I can make an intermediate save, I can create a new version, or I can also save it as a new project. This is very similar to what we can also do in the 3D. I will just show you as an example what it's like when we do, for example, such a save, because then it's not only like saving a file into the system, I also have the possibility to extract, for example, neutral formats from here. So for example, we got these two PDF schemes here, and we will just let them create this via the integration. Now the different translations are being done, and then the files or these two PDFs that we want to create, they are now being sent to the SAP system. We can just double check this. Here we can see that this PDF has been created. It's a separate document info record. You can choose whether you want to do this or whether you want to attach these PDFs to the original E-plan document. The nice part about this is that you have the possibility to put additional authorizations on it. So for example, you have this additional PDF in order to send it out through sales because they want to have an intermediate document to send out to the customer. However, you don't want to send the original to the customer. And here you can clearly distinguish that you say, okay, everything that is internal has its own authorizations and everything that can be sent out has other authorizations. So very convenient because then you don't have to take care of the different authorizations because it's just in one single system. Coming back to the E-plan, I would like to point your attention to the material management because this is one of the major aspects that you can get out of from the E-plan integration. If you have dealt with custom built import or export functionalities or some fancy Excel tables or whatsoever, then forget about this. This is totally different. Because here, what we can do is that we say, right from this E-plan project, I want to create a bill of material inside SAP. This is just by clicking that wizard. This will bring up like a dialog box where I can select what are the criteria for the E-plan for the bill of material, even with custom-made bomb filter if you like. And then just extract or give the appropriate amount of material numbers. We can just take these two here, take them over, put them in, and say, I want to put them out. Now, what you can see is that there's a little frame around these buttons here in green, because this is like a consistency check telling me are those components that are being extracted from the E-plan in a bomb context, are these consistent? That means are all of these components having a material master inside SAP? So here it's an ERP number. If this is the case, then the frame turns green. And if that is okay, I can just confirm. Now the bill of material is being sent to an intermediate screen where we do have the possibility to make a pre-check basically. So this is basically a view on how the bill of material will look like inside SAP. The color there indicates that every single position that is marked green will be created anew. So there's no change, there's no deletion because there's no material or bill of material present at this time. So we will just submit this. And now the bill of material is being created. We will just double check this. So we use our bill of material window, take these two materials over, let them fall down. And what we can see here is that the items that we have just seen are taken over. So very convenient to do. Same can be seen on the materials themselves, just right here, bill of material, and we can also see that these items have been taken over. So very easy to do. Now the other part of the material handling would be I have, for example, a component inside my article database, and this component does not have a material number from SAP. So that means it doesn't have an ERP number in the E-plan. Now what to do about this? It's very easy actually, because I can just say, when I want to create a material for this particular article here, I would just go back at my SAP PLM menu, and instead of creating a bill of material, I now want to create or assign a material master. This creation or assignment just depends on what's your process, whether you are allowed to create them or whether you have a master data management that is in charge of that and you just take over the material master. So I would just use this functionality. Now the integration goes into the article database and will check out all the components that do not have an ERP number yet. So very easy to do. Make a right click and say create material. And by this, an SAP Material Master has been created and assigned to this part number already. Very easy to do. Also, when we go into the article database, then we can see that this virtual fair part number has now been assigned to an SAP Material Master. So far as a rough overview to the E-Plan integration, and now I would like to use the remaining few minutes to show you the Inventor real quick, so that you can also see that it's basically the same handling inside a 3D CAD system. I'll just close this down. And for the Inventor, I want to say it's the same thing. You can see that there's a ribbon bar with icons, but also with the same terminology. And if I could just go back in and go to my motor here, make a right click, say open, then we would just go into the Inventor itself. The integration hands over the document, so this is being transferred, handed over to the CAD system, and the CAD system will open the file and the corresponding structure. So we just go in here and say, for instance, as a rough overview, that we want to save this geometry under a new document. That means the head component, the assembly itself. This is where I say, okay, I want to make reuse of everything that is in there. So I make like a save as from this component. And this all happens directly inside SAP. So give a new description here, confirm. And now the save as is being done. You can see that there are some things that the integration takes care of. So that's it. And now I can do the same things. I can edit, I can check in again, basically, so that I can give back the ownership. Everything that you know also from other operations, it's basically the same as in the E-Plan itself. So, of course, creation of additional drawings with title block supplement and stuff like that is also integrated in here. Now, the more interesting thing that I would like to show is that you also have the possibility to create a Material Master here. For instance, via the context menu, because we also want to derive a structure from here. Say create material. Now we are just giving the necessary information when we want to create a new material and assign it to this Inventor assembly. Click here. So I just want to finish my work here. Save and display. Saving the document. And now make a right click here. And instead of assigning a bill of material, we will now use the bill of material function. Doing that in single level mode. That's shortly thinking. And when we now go to the linked objects, we can see that there is a bill of material that has been created. So with all the components that are in there. So very easy. You can see that there is almost no, or basically there is no SAP GUI anymore. So working engineering in the context of SAP is not like years before where you had the old-fashioned SAP GUI. This is now a totally new user experience. Now the last thing I don't want to hide from you is that you can also have a visualization of this. So for instance, the integration will create viewables for you. This is a very interesting thing because what you can see in a few seconds, so this geometry here is not only a regular viewer that consists of certain capabilities that you can see, also the measurements and things like that. It has the capability to visually navigate in that particular structure. So just look at this data cards, and the moment that I select any kind of component here, it will show me the corresponding data card. Plus, of course, the possibility to say, for instance, I want to open that in my CAD system so that the corresponding component is being sent to the CAD system and then opened there. However, what you can see here, you will find all along the value chain when you're dealing with inside the SAP system. So for example, as a service department, I can also make use of this visualization in order to visually navigate through structures and also, for example, make work instructions or service instructions. I also can use this in manufacturing to easily build the manufacturing bill of material by graphically assigning the components to the specific steps. Or I can also use this geometry in quality assurance. So for instance, when I want to create quality checks and I want to make use of these different kind of measurements, there's also a solution. So what I want to say is, what we create here with the CAD integration is not only valid for this environment, it serves the entire value chain with product structure information, just right here, bill of materials. So product structure information with corresponding documents and with visualization that can help especially those people who do not have access to the native CAD data, but still want to have a convenient way to navigate inside the product itself. And with that, I would like to close this presentation here, invite you to ask questions or visit us at our virtual booth, or as a last option, just get in touch with us at CDON, and we would be very happy to organize like a dedicated demo, or we show you special features and things like that. So with that, I would just go into the question panel and have a look right here. So, okay, let's see. Okay, I think there is nothing left here. So in that case, what I would like to do is to finish the session and like to say thank you to all of you. And with that, I wish you a good remaining fair and hope to see you soon.